Hey, this is Editor Alex here. I wanted to interject and just give a trigger warning because we talk pretty explicitly and seriously, like not in our silly, goofy mood that we usually are, about some pretty big topics here in this episode. We talk a lot about rape and sexual assault and a bit about addiction as well. And we also touch on genocide and how that is used like linguistically and also touched upon in the themes of the show and relating to the sensitivity of, well, how it's not handled sensitively, which you'll find out. But yeah, I just wanted to interject and put that here because that would be kind of aggressive to just jump into otherwise. Hello and welcome back to Helluva Podcast. I'm Alex.
I'm Audie and welcome to my Hazbin Hotel.
We're both off of our intro because you did a different bit because it's our Hate Watch episode.
Yeah.
But also I said welcome back. I never say welcome back.
Welcome back. Maybe we should. I mean,
well, I was gonna say hopefully this isn't your first time listening because then I did not welcome you. But welcome now.
If this is your first episode of Helluva Podcast, I wouldn't judge us based off of what we're about to be more negative than we usually allow ourselves to be.
We're about to be like, you know how there's, at least like Emily always is like, I love your controversial takes. I love how you bring the controversy. There's someone else, I forget, who comments that all the time too. We're about to be so controversial. We're probably about to get some unfollows because we are shit talking Hazbin Hotel today.
Yeah. If we edited this podcast at all, this is where we would put air horns like pew 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 pew. So there you go. There they are. So normally we talk about Helluva Boss with a little bit of Hazbin when it's relevant, but today we have a lot to say about Hazbin Hotel because we have a lot of issues with it, and I think we'll get into this more towards the end, but it's worth noting at the start that there are a lot of elements of Hazbin that are really good, and like we wouldn't care enough to make this hate episode if we didn't like at least some of it.
Yeah.
Like, there are parts of the show that we do like a lot. We, unfortunately, will probably watch season 2 and 3, probably. Maybe.
2, yeah.
2,
3.
yeah, 3, we'll see. But, so we've got a lot of issues, and we want to shit talk it.
Yeah, because you're always asking our opinions on it.
Yeah. That, at a certain point in time, we thought about doing, like a 2-part bonus episode where we analyze Hazbin, like, the same way we analyze Helluva, we take, like, deep notes, and then we just kind of realize we don't want to do that.
We don't give that much of a shit.
We just want to speak our truth. And don't get me wrong, we could analyze it, like, there is stuff that is, worthy of looking at more closely, but we don't want to, so we're not going to.
I would rather put that energy into, like, the other bonus content that you guys have already suggested, or, Helluva, normal scheduled things.
Yeah. So I guess we just get into it. We sort of structured this chronologically, but also there's a lot of just general stuff in here, so we might jump all over the place. But yeah, I think a good place to start with is the writing, which is a very vague point, but like specifically the dialogue, and this is something that people who don't watch Hazbin Hotel know about.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things that is, like, people are shitting on it, and it's true.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of shows, and Helluva Boss 2, like, included, that people say, like, oh, it's just swearing and sex and violence, and that's it, and it's usually wrong, that there's other things, but honestly, the show's pretty spot on.
So much of the dialogue in every single episode just sounds like, hey, you fucking dick, suck my dick, you bitch, fuck you, asshole.
Yeah, and, like, in Happy Day in Hell, is that the opening song? It's satire. Like, that's done campily.
Yeah, there are parts where it's fun/funny.
Yeah, and it's like commentary almost, like, hey, we're being one of those shows, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
But then they actually are one of those shows. And that's something that Hazbin does a lot, where it's like, we're making a commentary on this, we're gonna do it. Helluva Boss 2 we've talked about with Millie specifically.
Yes.
But yeah, that...
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where it feels it's like they're trying to be super mature and edgy, but then it just wraps back around to being super juvenile.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, like, I saw, do you know that guy, Blake Jennings, who does, like the, hi, this is what your favorite Animal Crossing character says about you, those videos? Have you seen him?
I've seen videos like that, but I don't know if I've seen him specifically.
He's the gay guy in front of me.
Oh, wait, the ones you showed me.
Yeah,
yes.
Yes. He did one where he was like, hi, here's what your Spotify rap says about you. And he got to Hazbin Hotel and he said, hi, how's the 7th grade going? And I was like, okay, listen, Hazbin Hotel is a piece of shit, but that soundtrack goes hard, man.
Yeah.
Don't come for the soundtrack.
That's crazy.
It really made me laugh, though.
Apologies if you're in 7th grade.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny because right before that he mentioned an AJR album, and I was like, oh, I guess this is my representation in this YouTube short, and then he cut to Hazbin Hotel, and I was like, oh, fuck.
That's really funny.
I'm here and I don't like it.
That, it's actually really funny. I do know a lot of, like, teens and that watch Hazbin, and even kids that have talked to me about it.
Yeah.
If they see, like, my sticker at work.
Yeah.
Which I've since taken every single Hazbin and Helluva sticker except, I have one silly blitz on here.
And our podcast sticker.
Our podcast, yeah, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
Whoa. My computer, like, fucked up. Okay, anyway. Because I don't like having those conversations with 8-year-olds.
Yeah,
But hold on, I lost my train of thought. I don't know a 7th grader that likes Hazbin Hotel. So that's interesting to me.
You do. My sister's friend.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is in 7th grade. Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
But she slays.
Yeah.
So.
She doesn't count.
Yeah, and then sort of similar to, like, that juvenile-ness, going into, like, how exposition is provided throughout the show. Specifically, like, they'll set something up at the start of an episode and then immediately, like, resolve that in that episode, which is something Helluva does, too.
But with smaller issues.
Like, I think we talked about it in Ghostfuckers. Well, that was with Millie's whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is pretty big. When that was supposed to be her backstory
But that's
episode.
women writing.
Yeah, which we know they suck at that.
I think there's a few issues that go through the whole show, but not many. There's extermination and, like, obviously the big issue that goes through the whole show. There's the Angel and Val thing that goes, I think, from episode 2 to obviously the end. Is there any other conflict that goes the entire time?
Not really, no. Yeah, they're just like
the Vaggie and Charlie thing lasts like 2 episodes, so that's not just 1 episode, but it's not much.
No. And really, the Vaggie and Charlie thing, I think, starts, like, at the end of 1 episode and then continues into the next. Yeah, so specifically the one, and this happens a lot, but the one I thought of is in season 1, episode 6, starts with Sarah being like, remember, Adam, don't tell anyone about the extermination, and then in that same episode, at the end of it, Adam blabs about the extermination. Yeah. And it's like, we didn't even know until that episode that no one else knew about. It would have been so much more interesting if at, like, towards the start of the show, we get, like, a hint, like, oh, like, not everyone in heaven knows about the extermination. Yeah. That's interesting. And then later, that, you know, it would have been a much more satisfying payoff.
Don't lay a seed at all.
Yeah.
Like, if they didn't have that one line of, hey, don't tell them.
Yeah.
Then when Adam fucks up, first of all, it would be more like, oh my god, wait, did he not know to not say that? You know, like, there's more, that's just more interesting.
Yeah. And then also, in that same episode, it's revealed that Vaggie was an angel. And I think there was genuinely, earlier in the show, some really great foreshadowing towards that. Like, her lyrics and Whatever It Takes. Really cool foreshadowing. And there's just kind of this mystery around her the whole time. It's like, is she a sinner? Where did she come from? Mm-hmm. But then at the start of episode 6, I don't know why I specified season 1. There's only 1 season out right now. If you're listening to this in the future, there's only 1 season out at the time of recording this. But at the start of episode 6, it's, like, revealed that Vaggie was an angel. Mm-hmm. And then they reveal it again at the end of the episode. And it's like, if we cut out that first reveal, then that would have been so much more impactful. If, like, you know, that song ends with, she's an angel just like us.
Yeah.
Cut to Charlie. Like, Charlie's shocked expression. It could have been so much better.
It could have been. Also, there's so many, I know that we're going to get to, like, the good things at the end, but there's so many good camp moments.
Yes.
Not so many. There's a few. But they're so good.
Yeah, if the show committed to being campy and not taking itself so seriously, because it does both is the problem. It tries to be camp and then it takes itself so seriously and you just can't.
But, like, that moment, the
like, stinger jazz down and, like, close up on Charlie's face. So funny.
So funny. And then all of it starts with sorry.
It starts with sorry.
Really campy and funny. Honestly, because then also Happy Day in Hell, like, the whole show opens really campy.
Yeah.
With the exception of, I think, the call with Val and Angel is episode 2.
Yeah.
But
and we'll talk about
we'll
Angel.
talk about Angel.
That's the yeah. Yeah, it's just there are some things like they'll plant a seed really well, but then just the payoff is not good, and it's just super juvenile writing. Mm-hmm. And this is a show that's meant to be like super mature and like #edgy, #alternative, and then it's just like, okay, but you really are right. Like, if you're writing for 7th graders, that's fine, but then write for 7th graders.
Yeah, because you're not.
Because you're not, is the thing.
This is like a mature audience show. I mean, it doesn't have the beginning thing like Helluva does, but it's...
Yeah.
I think it's rated mature. You know, like, it's not for 7th graders, so if you're going to write for 7th graders, do better.
Yeah. And then sort of getting into women. We're always complaining.
We're always talking about women.
We're always... I love you, women.
I love you, women.
I love you, women. Yeah, no, this is the big commonality between Helluva and Hazbin is being total shit at writing women, but it is a specific kind of slap to the face in Hazbin, because this is supposed to be the female-focused show.
Yeah.
And it feels like they really just slapped a woman as the protagonist and then called it a female-focused show. And don't get me wrong, there is some good stuff. There's, like, the whole... Charlie as a character, I think, has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I really she's my favorite character in the show, hands down. Not always because of how she's written, but like because
of the potential.
The potential, the foundation is there. And then there are some interesting dynamics like her and Rosie, but that's just in one episode. And then same with Vaggie and Carmilla is that same episode. Charlie and Vaggie don't have any chemistry.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like, does Hazbin fucking... I mean, Hazbin does pass the Bechdel test, but I don't think every episode does.
No, definitely not. You can't be like, this is our female-focused show, and you're just not, is the thing.
Yeah, and I did want to know, it being the female-focused show is in response to criticism of Helluva Boss.
Yes.
Like, Vivzy posted, I think multiple times, about how, of course, Helluva Boss is going to be male-focused because... Blitz is the main character, and he's in a, gay-male relationship.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very male-focused. And, like, okay, fair.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
it makes sense.
I don't think your women, like, should be as atrocious as Millie is.
Yes.
But, like, sure, whatever. But then the thing was, Hazbin is meant to be the other one. Like, I know how to write women because Hazbin. And it's worse.
Yeah. Again, like... I'd say, like...
It was worse now that we have the... I never thought I'd leave the farm line. I don't know.
God. Because I think, like, it ultimately does more with its women than Helluva does. So I don't know if I'd call it worse. But for it supposedly being female-focused, it's really bad. And I talked about this in a bonus episode that I released almost 2 years ago, which is crazy. It's called Helluva Pattern. Go listen to it if you want. That was recorded before... Hazbin Hotel even came out properly, so it was about Helluva. But I did talk about Hazbin in that and how, like, Hazbin's supposed to be the female-focused show, and at the time I was like, maybe it will be. Like, we don't know, it could be good.
Yeah.
But even so, like, the men in this show still get so much development.
They do.
Versus in Helluva, which is the male-focused show, the men get so much, but the women get nothing. So it really just has never... It's never been anything.
Also, why do I feel like Rosie is one of the most fleshed out female characters when she has, like, one episode?
Yeah. No, she has, like, the most, like, discernible character. At least, definitely of, like, the side,
And she has, like, the most meaningful, actually female-focused conversation. Because she, like, sits Charlie down and is, like, love. And, like...
Yeah.
Like, that is, like... Because, like, Vaggie and Carmilla have a good thing, but I wouldn't say that's, like, intensely a female experience necessarily. It's like maternal to a degree, but the one that Charlie and Rosie have is like very...
Because it's about her relationship with Vaggie.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the implication with Vaggie and Carmilla too, because it's like, you need to fight with love in your heart, and the implication is that Vaggie's fighting for Charlie. Yeah.
But, I don't know, the difference is, like, I feel like a woman definitely wrote the Rosie Charlie one. I can't say that about the Vaggie Carmilla one.
I would say, Carmilla as a character, I love a lot.
No, that's real. I do like Carmilla a lot.
And so I feel like, I don't know, I like that.
Yeah.
A lot.
No, those are good. I'm not, like, shitting on them.
Yeah.
I'm just,
I feel like the Rosie Charlie thing and then the Vaggie Carmilla thing very much meant to mirror each other. Like, they're in that same episode.
You're right.
Yeah. And then fucking Lucifer. We're gonna be so... Ready? Here we go. Hate him. Don't like him. Fuck him and his rubber ducks.
He's, like, fine.
I don't give a shit about that man.
He's, like, just okay. There's not, like, anything exciting about him.
No.
He's all, like, take that depression, and that's, like, the big thing that's...
Mm-hmm.
It's not that funny.
It's not that funny. He's not, like, relatably depressed either.
No.
It's not like, oh my god, like, he's helped me with my depression because it's so relatable. Like, no.
No.
I don't care about him. I don't like him.
I think the big reason I don't like him is because he comes and steals Charlie's thunder.
Yeah.
Like, if Charlie had done the whole extermination thing herself, like... Because Lucifer is an absent father, and then comes in and saves the day and does everything for her.
Mm-hmm.
If we had Lucifer be an absent father, show up, not help her, and she still did it...
Yeah.
That would be good plot.
Yeah.
But no.
He just shows up, and they, like, sing a little song together, and then everything's fine.
Yeah, and then also, he fixes everything with fucking magic.
Yeah.
Like, if Charlie did that, she would have to, like, come into her power and learn how to do it and balance things. Like, it would have actually been character building and interesting.
Yeah.
But Lucifer's just, like, bada bam, bada boom, and then it's, like, makes sense because he's fucking Lucifer.
Yeah.
But there's no, like, nothing interesting about it.
Yeah.
At all.
And the idea of Charlie Morningstar being, like, a Nepo baby in hell...
It's crazy.
It's really funny, but I think, like, I don't...
It would also be really cool if we did establish, hey, Charlie Morningstar is a Nepo baby, but she's paving her own way.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want her to be a Nepo baby who's her dad, who's, like, the king of hell, can just show up and be there.
But you also can't do the beginning of, like, absent father and then he shows up. Like, it feels like... It feels like somebody, and I won't name names, but we know who we're talking about, had an absent father figure and wanted to write a sweet little story to fix her daddy issues. Mm-hmm. And it's just... it's so horrible. It's, like, cringeworthy. I'm not, like, a cringe culture person, but I do physically go, like, ugh, when I watch it.
It's so unfortunate. Yeah, it's really, that's the main, like, sticking point of Charlie's character for me. Like, if you cut Lucifer out entirely, I feel like Charlie is, like, a really solid character, really solid protagonist.
Especially if you think about, like, how her character would have been had Lucifer not intervened, like, if she'd still achieved all the same things, what she would have done, and, like...
Because, honestly, I think, like, in the one fucking cannibal town where, like, she really, like, comes into her own there, it's really powerful, but it's made less powerful by, like, the stuff with her dad right before that, like, the episode before or whatever, where it's like it's hard for me to believe that she's coming into her own right now when her dad just showed up and agreed to help her with everything, and it's like, okay, well, now you have literal Lucifer on your side, like... Yeah,
and also, Charlie coming into herself in Cannibal Town should have been the start of her arc. Like, that should have been, like... I don't know, like, she gains confidence, she feels like she can roll a group, and then she goes and she leads the whole battle without Lucifer. You know what I'm saying?
Start of her arc meaning... I don't know what you're saying. What do you mean?
If Lucifer wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like, that's a moment where she's, like, not... Like, she's very confident in everything.
Yeah.
But she wasn't doing that well. She wasn't being confident in that, and she had to kind of overcome that and try a different thing and come into herself. That should have been the start of an arc for her.
Yes. At first I thought you meant the start of the show.
No.
And I was very confused.
That should have been a start of an arc for her. But honestly, it could have been earlier. It could have... If Lucifer weren't there, it could have been that episode.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Also, you know what I just realized this show reads as?
What?
It reads as, like, a first draft of something. You know when you write a first draft of something and there's a bunch of issues and, like, everything kind of doesn't work out and then you always end up, like, cutting a character and making a character, like, way less important.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this feels like. Like, Lucifer needed to be cut.
Yes. Yes.
Or at least changed.
Yes. 100%.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I was gonna say something else. Just, like... Burp. Sorry. What was I gonna say? Hang on. Let me cook.
Simmers.
Microwave.
Anyway.
Microwave interlude. Sorry, guys. I have no fucking clue what I was gonna say. That didn't help at all.
Can we move on?
I suppose.
Husker Dusk. Husker Dust.
Husker Dust.
Husker Dust Horrible. Hate it. Sorry. Not sorry,
Kill
actually.
yourselves.
Don't tell our listeners to kill yourselves, because most of them...
No, not them.
Oh.
I guess not Angel. Kill yourself, singular.
Singular.
Husk. I like there are multiple instances of me saying kill yourself and you go, don't tell our audience to kill ourselves. This happened so recently.
Well, because, one, just don't do that. Two, I don't know how young our listeners are and how impressionable you are.
Don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Husk, the fictional character.
But yeah, horrible representation for SA and DV survivors, and just bad.
Yeah.
But I wrote a whole essay on this. Mm-hmm. I will re-plug it on things. Mm-hmm. You all probably know this though. So Angel's actively being abused. We know this. We've seen Masquerade. Mm-hmm. And then Husk gets sent out unwillingly to, go help, whatever. Yeah. Stops Angel from intentionally getting date raped, which is crazy, and I feel like we all as a fandom just... I don't know if I'm in this fandom. I feel like that just gets really blown over.
Yeah.
And also that Val has date rape in his breath. Mm-hmm. That's his power. Mm-hmm. What was that guy doing on Earth that he got to hell and that was his power?
No, for real. Or, maybe he had to achieve... I don't know how Overlord status works.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But that's the how his power works, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Husk says, "You're not being real, Angel." And then Angel says, "Oh, man, I am getting actively abused and I'm owned by my pimp. He makes me have sex with a bunch of people, every single day, and then makes me have unconsensual sex with him. And treats me like I am in a relationship with him, but I don't have any say. And he also literally physically beats me up." And Husk goes, "Been there." I gambled once.
I made a completely
voluntary
decision, and my life sucks, so you know what? We're both losers, baby.
Baby, after you just talked about how you're in a horrible relationship, that's your non-consensual, not actually a relationship. I'm gonna say baby. And now we're the OTP of the show.
And yeah, literally, I am going to equate your insane trauma that you are currently living with a mistake that I made and say that we are both at fault, but it's okay because we're losers together.
No, he straight up blames him. It's not oh my god, it's coded. I'm mocking us, not anybody else, us. Uh-huh. It's coded this. No. He literally says... I don't know what he says. I don't know the fucking song. I, refuse to listen to the song, even though it bangs, because it makes me so fucking angry.
Side note, there's a certain cover coming out by a certain two people, by which I mean us.
Yeah.
It'll be coming out the week...
I'm so ashamed.
Actually, that's funny. That's gonna be on YouTube, and this episode won't be available for everyone yet. So
you might have already seen it. That's really funny.
Yeah. Some people are gonna be like, wow, they did a Loser Baby cover, and then a month later it's us being like, we fucking hate Loser Baby. It's like, whoa, okay.
I do need you to know that I refused to sing Husk in this cover.
Yeah.
Before we recorded it, I was like, Audie, I'm not gonna sing Husk. I hate it. I hate it so bad.
It's so bad. So things look bad and your back's against the wall. Your whole existence seems fucking hopeless. It's just so...
Yeah.
And if this song, if it wasn't about what it is about...
Yeah.
If it was, a genuine, hey, you've got some, little minor inconvenience going on in your life.
Yeah.
It could...
And, I understand that Husks is not a minor inconvenience.
Yeah.
He's being forced to be the bartender or whatever, but that's also, that's not that fucking bad. Oh my god, I'm being forced to do a trade that I probably did my whole life on Earth. I feel like that's the implication.
Yeah.
So...
Which, it sucks, but, okay, you're not being abused every single day in, every possible way.
Yeah, and also, the whole, you made a decision... It is not clear in Hazbin if Angel willingly signed the contract or not with that. And I do feel the need to say that because, you know, like, that's the big comparison in this song. But I feel like, first of all, a contract that's like you have to have sex all the time with anybody, I say, that's not consent. That contract is not consent.
Yeah.
So it's not even equatable in general. But also, I have a really hard time believing that that was a consensual signing, even.
Yeah, and then I would say, even if it is a consensual signing, that I mean, going back to what you just said, like, it does not... That's not a fair contract to begin with, so it's not really a mistake. Like, you are being taken advantage of no matter what way you spin it.
Yeah. And we all know Val, he 100% coerced him into signing that.
Yeah,
like, you know,
I
don't believe a world where that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And also...
Or manipulated him in some other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I do feel the need to say that Poison, like, I have quarrels with it, of course, like, it doesn't need to be that graphic, like,
Yeah.
Like, all of that stuff. And then the way that people treat Poison, how it was a trend, was weird as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, did I learn the dance? Yes. But I'm allowed.
I was gonna say banger dance, but like...
I'm allowed. But anyway, that was an interesting thing, and I feel the need to say that, though, because Angel does blame himself in that song.
Yeah.
Like, he's saying, like, I made my choice, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good rap.
Yeah.
Because victims typically do blame themselves.
Yeah. It shouldn't then be validated
exactly.
by someone else.
So what we are learning... Okay, class. So we have... I am blaming myself for being abused because that is a very, very common way that people cope with literal trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It is your fault.
Yeah.
You're actively getting essayed, and it's not even essay, but I don't want to say the R word on here. Not that R word.
Angel, you're a fucking...
No. No, we can say it, though. We're explicit.
I was gonna say, out of personal comfort or out of... No, because I think we should say the word.
I'm thinking YouTube standards, but we're not that popular because they take down videos that say that word a lot.
Who fucks?
Who
fucking cares?
Because it's not just SA. He's getting raped.
He's
constantly.
being raped. Yes.
And yeah, I got sidetracked by
yourself.
Syntax. What's the word for language?
The word for language?
No. The word for like
diction, like word choice.
Yeah.
Diction.
Anyway, what was I saying? I was like cooking. I forget though. He blames himself and then he says, "Yes, it's your fault." And then we're gonna be romantic interests, and this is how it's basically saying this is how you should be treated as a victim.
Yeah.
And I know people are gonna be like, media isn't that serious. It is.
It is. It's the thing. It is. This is what we're saying. The show, you cannot be both camp and then also explore these very... I mean, like, you can't explore these very intense dynamics and concepts and themes, but then, like, resolve that concept with a campy little song.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely not.
You can have camp and seriousness, but you can't combine them like that. It just does not work.
And also, like, it's not just saying, like, these are the people you should keep around you. It's saying these are the people that should, like, if someone is treating you like that, it is okay for them to pursue you romantically.
Yeah.
And that's what I have a lot of problem with because it's, I don't know, like Husk, I don't think that Husk is written as like an abuser by any means. Yeah. I mean, season 2 is going to come out, we don't know, but I really doubt that.
Yeah. I think he's meant to be like the good
guy, but
romantic interest.
It's just icky as hell.
Yeah. It's icky.
It's icky, and it's, like, horrible, horrible, horrible representation. Not only for, like, victims to see that and be like, oh, okay, well, in my life, that's fine then. But then also for stigma. Like, this is, like, abuse and, like, talking about abuse, like, coming out and being believed and everything is such a hard topic already.
Yeah.
And then we copy it with male victims, and then we copy it with gay male victims. like male victims, and then also like victims generally are not believed.
Yeah.
And then male victims are not believed, and then gay male victims are even less believed. So it's like a pipeline there.
Yeah.
And in my essay that I wrote, I have so many statistics in there, so it's like an actual proper thing. I'm not just like saying this.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna do this so shitly. Like we're not gonna put any care into it.
Yeah. It's like it's not just this stands out as not being just like an issue. It's like an issue that can do very real harm.
Yes.
And that is why we are so serious about it.
Yes.
Because it's like obviously like, you know, women not being written well, that is a very real, it's indicative of a wider systemic issue.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's not going to have any positive effects for sure, but like this is something that can really negatively impact a lot of people in a lot of ways.
Yes, and especially also how media handles it, because this show, obviously this isn't the first show to talk about like gay male abuse. Like there are other ones that do it, but this is one of the first very mainstream, very popular and talked about ones. Like this is one of the first shows that I've seen where people actually like go online and they talk about Angel and they talk about the abuse and everything.
Yeah.
And it's talked about in such a disgusting way.
Yeah.
And then other shows in this genre, in this adult animation genre, or just adult genre in general, are going to replicate that because it was seen as okay. And that is how bad representation gets perpetrated in media. Like, that is blueprint how it works.
Yeah.
So, it's like, take a risk, represent stuff like that, but you have to be thoughtful at a minimum. And it's just, it makes me so fucking mad.
So, like, whose idea? Who came up with Loser
Whose
Baby?
idea? Who wrote it? Who greenlighted it? Like, it had to go through so many filters. That's the whole thing with this whole fucking show. This had to go through so many filters to get put on Amazon.
Yeah. And the thing that really gets me is that we are in the minority for speaking negatively about it.
Oh, 100%.
And, like, I know that's a very young fan base, so I'm not, like...
But not entirely.
Not entirely, no.
Entirely.
I'm not faulting, like, the 7th graders we mentioned earlier. Like,
no, if you're, like... I was gonna say if you're under, like, 16. Honestly, if you're under 18, like, you might not have full opinions yet.
Yeah. I'm 21. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about half the time.
But especially if you're, like, 13 or younger, like...
Yeah.
Do not be like, oh my god, my favorite podcast, they hate me because I like Husker Dust. Like, you are fine.
You are the ones who are talking about being negatively impacted.
Yeah, these are very big adult issues.
Yes.
But there's a lot of adult fans.
Yeah.
Who go crazy about this. And then there's some fans even, this is an extreme, and I think these are younger fans. Just by the way that they interact, and it's very, like, explicitly a TikTok issue. Or it was. I haven't been on TikTok in months. I don't know what's going on there. But was people being like, Angel is so lucky because they're simping for Val. First of all, why the fuck are we simping for Val in any regard? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry if you're if you're a kid, change your opinion. No, I can't say that because that's looping in real life. I had a conversation with someone in my real life that is under 16 years old, who I work with, that had opinions on Val, and I was like, whoa. I get it. Like, it's a big adult plot, and you're not really gonna understand it when you're young. I get that.
Yeah.
But that saying Angel is lucky is actually fucking insane.
It's actually crazy.
And the fact that not only that got said, like, there were negative comments, but there wasn't anybody being like normally you see really controversial shit like that and it's like full of negative comments.
Yeah.
There was so many agreeing with it.
Yeah.
And that was terrifying to me. And I don't stalk people, but I did because I was like, what the fuck? Some of those were adults.
Yeah.
Some of those were full grown adults.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
Here's what I think it is. Because this isn't us just calling out fans. I think the show is a breeding ground for this behavior. And I think what it is it comes down to, like, two main things. One, the, like, this sort of, like, I don't know, gayness being, like, I don't know how to word this. It's just, like, such a strong emphasis on, like, gay, but without addressing any of the nuances. So it's, like, there's, like, some yaoi shit on my screen, and it's like, okay, but this is not sex, this is rape. Like, can we talk about how this is rape?
And I think this goddamn stupid fucking show has so much potential with this.
Yes.
Because, and I'm always talking about this, but because, like, the gay male porn industry, obviously the porn industry generally, like, doesn't portray real sex. It's fucked. It makes things, like, very, like, female experiences and male experiences alike and everything in between, very skewed, like, viewpoints from porn. That's true.
Yeah.
But specifically of gay male porn, that is some of, like, I think it would be very difficult to find a non-aggressive gay male porn video. You know, or, like, content. Like, that's the whole thing.
In a mainstream
sense, yes. Like, that is, like, what it is.
Yeah.
And so, because a lot of people, that's, like, a big quarrel. They're like, why is it so aggressive? Why is it so in my face? I think that could work really well. Because that can be a tool to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And make you realize this is a problem.
Yeah.
But then they don't follow up with that at all. They don't address that it's not consensual. They just put it in your face as, like a trauma dump thing. And then they don't do anything with it.
Yeah. And that's the other thing I was going to say. This just, like, over-sexualization, sort of I can't say that word. Fetishization of gay men.
Which is in both shows.
In both shows. But it's especially
it's
here.
Way worse here.
And it's just like...
Because we were having a conversation before we started recording, because you asked if Angel ever actually has consensual sex in the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. But then we followed that up with, I think the only sex that happens in the show is Angel. And other people.
Yeah. And sex is not really the right word for it, because it's not.
Yeah.
it's assault, it's rape,
yes.
it's coerced.
But what I'm saying is nobody else on screen has sex.
Yeah.
So, like, that's just worth noting, I think. I had somewhere I was going with it, but what were you saying before?
I can't word it properly. I just, like, this show, the way, this is going into our next notes about Val, about how Val as a villain is handled, how he's this big abuser, rapist, like, all of these god-awful things, and the show humanizes him, which is one thing. Like, you can humanize a god-awful character, and that can be a really effective and powerful writing choice, but you can't...
When it's appropriate, yeah.
When it's appropriate. Or, not even when it's appropriate, just, like, you can have an awful character, but then also, like, make your audience feel for them and still have them be awful, you know? Like, that's a thing you can do. But you can't humanize him and then also, like, just make light of the terrible things that he does and not have him face any consequences for those things.
Yeah.
Like, the actual abuse that he's doing is shown so explicitly and violently, and, like, we see the consequences of it for Angel. But then... Yeah,
we were talking about no one in this fucking show faces consequences, like, as a writing issue, and then I was like, well, except for Angel.
Except for Angel. Angel faces all of the consequences.
But none of them are even fucking consequences, is the
No,
thing.
he didn't do anything wrong!
He signed one piece of paper.
And now his life is a living hell, pardon the pun.
Like...
Yeah, and so Val... They're showing this abuse as this violent and horrible thing, but then he's also turned into this, like, silly little guy.
Yeah.
Not little, he's tall.
Yeah.
But
like, we kind of talk about this sometimes, too, where we're, like... Because, like, audios of Val go trending all the time, because y'all want to fuck him. You don't want to fuck him. He's not only a rapist, but he's also, like, an active pimp.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, like, rape aside, he's not cool.
No. He also is, like what, like 70, 80? He can't see?
God.
Like, he's an old fucking man. Like, I get that his mouth design is pretty cool. Like, I understand that. But you don't want to fuck him. Stop talking about it.
You don't want
Stop.
to fuck him.
Anyway.
Yeah. I think what the thing is that there's not a lot of alternatives for people in that show for fuckability, because I feel like Lucifer's the other one that people simp after, but he's like, is he canonically gay or is he pan, actually?
I think he's pan.
Okay.
But I don't know for sure.
I think he is. Never mind. I was going to say he's full gay, but that's not true. I don't think.
But I think the reason that people simp after Val is because he's one of the very few characters that's actually associated with sex in the show.
Yes, this is true.
And it would be weird to simp after Angel. So therefore,
And I think the other thing is, like, the sort of assault that's happening is almost viewed as, like, a kink thing. rather than abuse. So it's just like,
Yes.
oh, they're having like harsh, violent sex, and it's like, no, that's not what's happening here. Actually, not
Absolutely
at all.
not. Oh God, I like have so much to say, but I'm trying to like because
Before we started
Yeah.
recording, you were like, you can't get me talking about Angel. I was like, my brother in Christ, it's a podcast. I don't know what you want me to do.
You can't get me talking about Angel. Angel dust, my poor little baby.
I'm getting you out of there. But yeah. Also about Val, there's sort of this dynamic between Val and Vox where they're sort of like this kind of funny little duo.
Also, the V's a fucking hole.
The V's as a whole, it's kind of... I like the concept, but having one of them be a rapist really throws a wrench in the works for me liking them as a group.
Yeah.
And then,
Because, no, you're right. Like, these are the big bad of the... Well, I mean, the heaven people are the big bad. But in hell, these three are the big bad. They're like they're powerful, whatever. They're fucking everybody over.
Literally.
One of them is a social media manager and a fashion girl. One of them is like media and surveillance. Like, I can see how that's a little bad, capitalism, etc., etc.
Yeah.
The other one is like a serial rapist.
Yeah. These three... one of these things is
not like the other.
What?
Also, the other two are like technology based, and I get that Val's like a pornographer, so that's technology based. But like,
what the fuck, man? What the fuck?
I don't.
What the fuck? Yeah, the three worst evils of the world: social media, television, rape.
Yeah, like
what? Can we be so for real?
Yeah.
Can we be so for real?
And also, the thing is too, we also know that Val is like a regular like groomer and hunter as well, because we see him in the sex bar, whatever. That's a weird ass. By the way, that was a weird ass situation and venue to have. By the way, like, oh my God, we are gonna. This is getting forward a little bit, but oh my God, we are going to judge people based on sex and stuff on heaven, and we're gonna surveil Angel, this victim, and we're gonna put him in a sex bar and talk about how bad he is. While we're also going to talk about his rapist that's there actively preying on people.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about how he's actively... Because the whole thing is that Angel stands up to him, so, like, yes, we are talking about how he is actively preying on people. But everyone's like, oh my God, he's so cute, he protected Nifty. No. He was trying to get Val angry regardless of what the consequences were, because he was actively preying on, like, a full fucking group of people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Should we...
Hang on.
Yeah.
One more thing
Go ahead.
about Vox and Val. Like, Vox, he's supposed to be, like, one of the bad guys. But he's not a literal sexual abuser, rapist. So he's, like, Vox is still, like, likable, you know? Like, he's a villain, but he's, like, he's funny. He's silly. And then him and Val are just paired together with this weird homoerotic stuff that I don't care for. And, like, I could see Vox being, like, redeemed or something. Not literally in the heaven sense. Just in the, you know, character redemption way. But it's still, like, they're pairing him with Val as if they are on the same level of evil. And, like, I presume that Vox knows who Val really is.
Yeah.
Val doesn't hide the fact that he is a serial rapist.
No.
So it both minimizes the significance of Val as an abuser even more. It's just like, oh, he's just a silly, goofy guy. And then it also just, it takes Vox's likability away. Well, it doesn't. It should, but it doesn't.
It doesn't. The thing is, they're not, like, they're seen as bad because, like, they're seen as bad because they hurt Angel, and that is literally it. And I'm glad that we're addressing that, at least, I guess.
Yeah.
But they're seen as, like, a foil. They're not seen as, like, oh, they're bad because it's serial rape, and then Vox is bad because he's letting it happen, and, like, none of that is addressed.
None of that's there. It's more just that Vox is Alistair's enemy.
Yeah.
And so there's that whole thing.
And then Val, I guess, is Angel's.
Yeah, it's just none of it. Oh, also we have this, we skipped over it. Masquerade, the 4th episode with poison and stuff, originally did not have a trigger warning on it. We learned this because we watched the show, like, independently when it first came out, and then we rewatched it as a group with friends, and there was a trigger warning, and we were like, that wasn't there before. It should have been.
I think I straight up laughed at it. I was like, no fucking way. Like, first of all, that they added it. Second, so, okay, let's break this down.
Yeah.
Didn't have a trigger warning to begin with. There's, visible rape, multiple times. There is a physical beatdown, a verbally berating during that, like being beat the shit out of.
Yeah.
There's also like just the kind of like beat into obedience thing. Mm-hmm. Like just, and that's all in one episode.
Yeah.
No trigger warning.
No trigger warning.
Then they add a trigger warning, presumably because it got reported or something of that nature, and Amazon had to add one.
Yeah.
We didn't think that it wasn't a good thing to put out there.
It feels like it was meant to be shock value.
Yes.
And that's why they were like, maybe we don't put a trigger warning.
Yeah.
Because then it's even more shocking. We were watching it with the group and everyone was like, why is this really in this episode? In Hazbin Hotel, we were like, yeah, it is.
I think, like, when we got there, I was like, this episode gets... I think I even said, like, this episode gets really heavy, we don't have to watch it. Like, we can paraphrase this and we can skip to episode 5 because this doesn't need to fucking be there.
Yeah.
And it's, like, it's kind of not traumatizing to watch, but in a way it's, like... traumatizing isn't the right word, but it's, like...
it is. It's, like,
yeah.
very upsetting... It
doesn't... And... This is, like, a whole thing that I, like, skirt around in my essay because I don't want to be didactic and shit, but it's kind of irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
100%.
Like, to produce media like that and then just put it out without a trigger warning, 100% irresponsible, but then also just, like, having that for shock value and then not following it up and then giving the negative messaging with Husk, it's just irresponsible. And I think that media creators do have a responsibility.
Absolutely.
Not everybody agrees with that. A lot of people do not agree with that.
Yeah.
I 100% believe it, though. Because you are responsible for what you put out, and I mean, you're not 100% responsible for the effect that it has on every single person, because you can put out something that's not inherently harmful, and it can be really harmful for somebody.
Totally.
But, like, something like this, they're responsible. And that's why it's like, I don't really fuck with the show.
Especially in a show that's meant to, like... It's meant to be, like, you know, subversive, and, like, they're trying to... If you're trying... just especially when it comes to sensitive content. Like, you could argue, like, you know, you could put... the idea of responsibility in art, I agree with you that you do have a responsibility, but I think it is definitely a complicated question, because it's like, well, like... why do I have to have... You know, I understand where people come from when they
I think it's also...
that idea.
It's a separate thing when you're creating media on a small scale. When you are creating a show for Amazon Prime, where you know it is going to be very widespread, it's capitalistically distributed.
Yeah.
It's going to go out to a wide audience. I feel like you have a higher responsibility.
I think... And especially a younger audience, whether they intend that or not, they should have known, you know, that they were attracting one just based on, like, you know, the pilot on YouTube. Like
and
that.
Also Helluva. Like,
also
obviously
Helluva.
all those people are going to go to your other show.
Yeah. And it just, like, I
feel like this production company, and that's bold. I'm not shitting on everybody at Spindle Horse.
Yeah.
Some of you are probably great, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a lot of community care generally.
Yes.
I think it's less so in Helluva Boss, because there are some things that are handled very well in Helluva Boss.
Or that we have yet to really see how they'll be handled.
Yes. But, like, not that they're the same literally at all, but if we compare Angel and Fizz, Fizz's whole thing is handled with so much more care, and you can see it. Angel's thing seems like it had literally nobody gave a shit. Like, nobody tried to think... Nobody thought at all, how is this going to impact our audience? Like, ever once. It's the blueprint of, like, how you do it bad.
It feels like with Angel, they were, like, just writing what they thought would be fun at any given turn. Yeah. It's like, let's do some trauma porn because #angst, and it's like,
and
okay,
we want to be edgy and keep into it. Because that was the whole thing, is we're keeping to our indie roots. That's not indie roots.
That's not fucking indie roots.
Indie roots is actually properly handling issues.
Yeah.
That's what indie media does.
Yeah. There's more I want to say about...
Trying to be all punk rock and shit, and you're just, like, producing your fucking Amazon Prime show.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it reads like.
Yeah. There's more I want to say about the idea of responsibility in art, but I cannot formulate my thoughts correctly, but we should talk about that at another point. Yes. I don't know where that would fit on our podcast.
If you want a bonus episode about responsibility in art, let us know.
Comment down below if you want. I fear we should move on.
Yes,
There's so much more we
get
can
me
say.
off this topic.
Okay, let's talk about world building. I think the Helluverse as a concept really cool.
Yeah.
The idea of the extermination, I don't know that it's always explored super thoroughly.
It's interesting enough. I don't know if it was worth being the entire through line of season 1.
Yeah. And, well, beyond season 1, they didn't solve it.
No, that's true.
I fear it's the premise of the entire show.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. And that's another one of those things where it's like, they treat it, it's like so serious, but also not.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in fucking Happy Day in Hell, Charlie refers to it as a genocide. And that is just such a heavy word for a show that's not that serious.
You can't say, no, this didn't come out that long ago.
No.
Especially in this political climate.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I didn't know, like, I forgot that she says genocide.
Genocide.
That's crazy.
I don't remember if it happens elsewhere in the show or if it's just in that song. It always, I love that song.
Oh, yeah, Heaven's Genocide. And it's treated like, it's like a long no, and it's...
Heaven's Genocide.
But, like, genocide
like,
is not a word that you can use in a funny context.
No.
Unless, like, I guess there's probably room for, like, reclaiming, but, like, not... This is not that.
This is not that. And especially coming from Charlie, who's, like...
Nepo baby.
Nepo baby, at no point... Obviously, she does care very much, but at no point would she be a victim of this genocide, quote
She's,
unquote.
like, the complete opposite.
Yeah.
She's the, like, the figure that could stop it. And that's, like, the plot of the show, and, like, obviously it's good that she does that, but singing campily Heaven's Genocide is crazy.
That's my whole thing with the extermination. That's, like, my main issue with it.
Yeah.
It's, like, they try to walk this really weird line with it, and it fails in both directions. It's, like, it's not that serious, but it's also not something you can really laugh at. It's just kind of... It's kind of awkward.
And there's a way to make commentary, like,
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
What is this a commentary on? It doesn't really feel like it's meant to be anything.
Since we're talking about genocide.
Sure.
not to
okay.
take a hard
Let's
bit.
go there.
Let's talk about Cabaret. That is a really good example of how you can be funny and silly in a musical and also really serious and really impactful.
Yeah. Because they...
And this is musical theater inspired.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is an example of how you do it wrong.
Yeah. Because, I mean, honestly, thank God they don't seem to be commentating on any particular genocide.
Yeah, thank God. But
Imagine.
it's unfortunately too prevalent of an issue.
Yeah.
Like, it would never be okay, but especially now.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. It's just not... It's not good.
Especially too that it's fucking marketed at a liberal audience. Like every turn is wrong.
Yeah, that's why I say thank God they weren't really referencing any real event, historical or current. But also the fact that they don't just makes it feel even more off base, more out of touch, because it's just they're referencing this idea of genocide, which is very real. It has happened historically in the recent history. It is happening currently.
Yes.
And they are referencing it, but totally not acknowledging the actual seriousness of it. We are talking about hundreds of thousands, millions of people dying.
Yeah.
Men, women, children, people dying. Horrific deaths that are not deserved. And we're gonna just throw this word in here in this song because it rhymes.
Yeah.
What?
And also,
what?
Not that they use the word or anything, so I'll give them that, but is Serpentius technically a martyr? The Serpentius death thing really doesn't sit right with me, and it never has.
Really? Just
because, the fact that it's oh my god, we're not going to talk about Lucifer's reaction to that.
No, that's not what I was laughing at. I just remembered how his death happened so quick.
Yeah, so quick.
So quick.
And, it is funny how it's, actually paced. I'll give them that.
Yeah,
but, I don't know. The fact that it's, oh my god, he, died for us and whatever. Not earned. I think also, I don't know.
For me,
it's weird to me.
Yeah, it's not a thing of not sitting right for me. It did kind of... I was, surprised, and I was okay, that... I did not think that was gonna...
It just didn't really need to happen, and it feels of a bit of ill taste to me.
But I don't know about ill taste. Not that it feels like a particularly good writing choice or anything. Just that it didn't, like, sit too badly with me or anything, especially the fact that he's definitely coming back. Like, he didn't die for real.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing for me. Do you need the charger, by the way? How are you on battery?
I think I do need it.
Okay. Here you
go.
go.
No, I kind of, like, said this, and then I was like, this is not really a hill I want to die on. It didn't sit right with me, but it also didn't sit, like, horribly with me. Like, there are things in this show that sat a lot more horrible, as we know.
That's sort of what I was getting at. Like, it's not like I think it was, like, the best thing in the world, but I don't want to compare it to any of the other stuff we talked about.
But if we are talking about it as a genocide, like, it's...
But that's different because the genocide is the sinner. Or, well, he is a sinner.
Exactly.
But like, that battle is separate from the extermination.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
They're fighting against the extermination, but that's not... I guess... I mean, he is...
Is it, though?
Like, he's killed by... Doesn't Adam kill him?
I don't remember.
I
honestly don't really give a fuck.
My thing is, it's not like the extermination happened and he just got killed as part of the extermination. It's like the extermination started and they start fighting against it and he dies, like, in that battle.
Yeah, that's true.
But I see what you mean. It's a little too close for comfort.
Yes. I was gonna, because I think that's even closer, is the thing.
Yeah.
To framing him as a martyr, and I don't like that at all. But also, that's, again, not, like, the worst thing in this show. Yeah. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, they killed Sir Pentious and framed... Like, no, that's not... I'm not gonna die on that hill. It's just, again, another thing that's, like, why... Like, if they hadn't set it up as a genocide, I don't think it'd be a problem. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Literally, just cut that one word. Find a different rhyme.
Yeah.
Like, and also just, Whoa.
Also, this isn't... I am sure it is, but I want to look at... I don't know how I'd look that up, actually. Is the extermination biblically accurate at all?
I doubt it, but let me find that out.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, like, did they come on this... Because if it is biblically accurate to a degree, like, it's referencing a specific biblical event, then maybe I could understand a little more. Like, I definitely think it could be handled a lot more sensitively, but... Sorry, the Reddit thread called Cold Take.
r/Hazbin Hotel Cold Take.
That's us.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm trying to... How do you... I think if you do a minus...
Well, actually, no, all of ours are technically hot takes, but they should be cold takes.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying...
Yeah, I don't know if it's actual... But like, what I'm saying is if it is, then I can understand it a little more. But if it's not at all biblically accurate, then why are we doing that?
Yeah, because, like, I do get... Like, as a premise, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But it's not...
But why are we doing population control?
Yeah.
Like, to begin with.
Because that's the thing. Because that's why it's interesting. Because it's, like... It's very clearly heaven just abusing their power.
Mm-hmm.
And,
but
like...
there's so many other ways to do that.
Yeah, I think as a concept, the extermination could have worked. It's just, like... It's like, okay, it's not... I don't know.
I do think it would also work better... I don't know. I feel like there are... Because there are definitely shows that do, like, extermination or unlawful or unrightful, like, killing of, like, a lesser class of people. Notably fucking Arcane is what I'm thinking of. Like, but that's not in ill taste because it's handled so much differently and it's said explicitly and it's treated seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to compare these two, but I do fear actually that I'm making a lot of connections, but I don't want to keep on that thread. I don't want to soil her name. But I don't know. Are you still looking?
Yeah, sorry. I searched Hell, Heaven, Extermination, and then I did minus Hazbin, minus hotel, so they wouldn't show up, but I'm not getting anything.
Yeah, so I feel like it is just a thing that they made for the show.
Population? Yeah, I don't think it is. We'll read all of the religious texts and get back to you.
Yeah, and if you've read all the religious texts, if you, like, study religion or something, let us know.
We read 2 chapters of Genesis in our class the other day.
I did read the whole Bible at one point in my life, but I don't remember it all.
I found Genesis really interesting.
No, Genesis is interesting. That is the second time I have read aloud Genesis at a Bennington I shouldn't say that.
We did in our earlier episode, so I think we're
okay. In a class at my college, which is crazy.
So our address is... No, I was re-listening to our podcast from the beginning, because I'm making a compilation, wink wink. Expect that soon. If it's not, it's probably already out by the time you're listening to this, if you're on Spotify.
If you're not Jessica and Emily.
Yeah. But I was on, like, episode 2 or 3, and we fully just went, like, Bennington College. I was like, oh my god.
I know on Double A we one time name dropped a professor, and I'm still thinking about that.
Yeah, that shit's still on the internet.
We should take that off. Anyway, yeah, we had no internet safety when we started.
No. And to be fair, like, who's coming here? Maybe after this episode, a lot of people.
Yeah.
Someone's like, actually, Valentino is my special baby boy, and you will die by my hands.
That one person who, sorry, you kind of did the fucking, what's her name? Emberlyn voice? But anyway,
yeah.
That one person that commented, everything you said about Angel is wrong, exclamation point.
Someone commented on one of our videos and said, amazing, and then indent, line break, everything you said about Poison is completely wrong. Love you to death.
You're wrong, sorry.
I just love the amazing felt like a genuine compliment, and then they were also like, by the way,
amazing episode, fucking die. Like, what?
Anyway.
Sorry if that was you. We're not actually being mean. We just thought we really still laugh at that.
Yeah.
We gotta move on.
Fundamental flaw of the entire show. The premise is you have to be good to earn redemption. But then the show perpetrates these really god-awful ideas of what good means. For example, sex. Being overly sexual is bad. Drugs make you evil, etc. And it's like, okay, you could do this in a way that is a commentary. You could be... Because, like, the idea is, like, these are the rules that Heaven put forth, and Heaven are the bad guys, and they're wrong. Like, I get that. That is there to a degree, but it's also not really there to enough of a degree. It kind of just seems like the show itself is saying, hey, if you do these things, you're bad and should be in hell, and you have to redeem yourself to go to heaven. And it's and then especially with Angel, how he's viewed as, like, being irredeemable.
Not only being irredeemable, being the market, like, not spokesperson, but, like, what's it called? Poster person?
Yeah, the poster person.
Like, when they're actively in court, they track Angel. Like, target on his back.
They're like, this guy, prime example of someone who cannot get into heaven ever. And it's like, because he's a whore and he's an addict. Yeah. And it's like, okay.
Because... Let's rephrase. Because he is actively being raped, sexually assaulted, physically assaulted, etc. on the daily. And he uses drugs to feel not traumatized all the time. And, like...
As a point of relief.
Yeah, as a coping mechanism for all of that.
Pardon the pun, but we are demonizing a victim, an addict, saying, once again, perpetrating the idea that these things
and not only
fault.
Just an addict, but, like, an addict with such a clear and said connection to being a victim. Like, that's...
It's like, okay, so you're a victim, and that relates very strongly to your addiction.
Yeah.
You will never get into heaven. Like, what?
Yeah. And,
what?
like, also going back, could have been following Val.
Could have been following fucking Val.
Like, not going to because it's not, like... one of the hotel people, sure. But I feel like Angel being... Like, obviously, Angel... There's, like, that whole thing of, like, he's just looking for room that's not with Val and all of that, which inherently is such an interesting thing, too, that could have been more explored. But anyway, he's at the hotel doing the work. Surely he's not the most irredeemable person.
Yeah. And then also, like, Charlie is advocating for him here and saying, like, no, but he can be redeemed. And, like, we get that. But the show itself is still putting forth this notion that he is irredeemable.
Yeah.
And, like, doing something wrong.
He's gonna get redeemed at some point in the show, probably.
Sure, probably. Or they're gonna abolish the whole thing of having whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Plot. And people online are all like, you know, like, yay, we want Angel to get redeemed, whatever. Like, good. But...
See, that's the thing. I think, really... If the show, like, ends with, like, hooray, we redeemed all the good guys, that sucks. Yeah. Because that is just proving that these ideas of good and bad were right to begin with. And further perpetrating. And,
like, we were talking about this earlier, too, like, The Good Place. Like, that is a commentary.
Yeah. Good Place is great. No
Good
spoilers.
Place is
I haven't
great.
finished it.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm aware.
Okay, yeah. If you've seen it, you know the exact scene I'm thinking of. There's a full explicit commentary on this exact thing.
Yeah.
But
I've seen season 1, to be clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that happens in season 1.
I know well, I guess I won't say if anyone hasn't seen it.
But anyway, that's like, again, there's so many examples that already existed before the show came out of ways to do this well.
Yeah.
To do all of this well.
So it's like, how are you doing this so badly when it's already been done?
And also, but even with The Good Place there, that whole commentary, and it's not really spoils, is like, that it's hard to be a perfect person.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. Especially in this political climate.
Yeah.
Not this political climate, but
that
one of the time. But even that show wasn't like, sex is bad, drugs are bad. Like, this is just so explicitly... Like, I get that it's supposed to be in Christian ideology and, like, what a lot of Christians believe nowadays, especially in America. But...
That's the other thing. It's very American.
It's so American.
She laughs at all my jokes. Not she. He. I just... Lesbian. Olivia Rodrigo.
Lesbian?
Anyway. Yeah, no. And then these sins of, like, having excessive sex and doing drugs, these are viewed as equally deserving of damnation to, the serial rape.
Yeah.
So it's just bad.
And there's
all around.
Again, it could be okay if there was literally any explicit discussion about it, but there's not.
Yeah, if they because they are, like, I do think, and this sounds like I'm giving them more credit than they deserve. I'm not. I do think the intentions are there.
Yeah.
Of, like...
I don't think... And let's be clear that Spindlehorse and, like, Vivzy and everyone, I don't think anyone was like, let's make a show that harms people.
Yeah.
Let's make that really clear.
I think they were being, like, this is what heaven believes and they're the bad guys. It's just not at all made clear in the show.
Yeah.
And I think it is something that, like, could be, like, I feel like they're saving it up to be, like, a reveal or, like, a big twist later on, but it's like, no, that's not the twist. You have to go into it with that. Like, you have to lead with that. I don't know. It's just, I can't fully articulate it. It's just all done bad. And then, yeah, I guess, that's not all we have to say, but it's...
Yeah, I feel like we've kind of... What's this? How do you say it's dry.
We're gonna, like, talk ourselves in circles if we keep going. Like, we're just hitting the same points over and over if we keep going. But yes, getting into... I mean, I'm adding this in with the good things because I think it's complicated. Mm-hmm. Getting into, like, good things of the show or, like, neutral...
Because we felt it important to list a few things that are, like, very overarching and good, because, again, we wouldn't care.
Yeah.
We wouldn't yap for almost an hour and 7 minutes so far about something if we just hated it. We're not those type of people.
Yeah, we've always said, same with Helluva, if we get to a point where we hate it so much that we're not having fun, we're gonna stop the podcast. Yeah. We're not gonna be here hating just for the fun of it. But... yeah, so sort of, this is more of a neutral one, but, like, the pacing of the show, because I go back and forth on it. I feel like sometimes it's too slow, sometimes it's too fast.
I think it's really hard to pace an 8-episode season where you want a lot to happen well, and I understand that boundary, that barrier.
I understand that. I do feel like not that much actually happens, is the thing.
I think it takes way too long, because we get the whole thing of episode 1 is, oh my god, the extermination is happening and I have to stop it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. Like, that, the fact that it takes 8 episodes from there to the actual, like, not, but that's not even like, are they coming down for the extermination? Or are they coming, like, I
feel, because here's the thing, there are some parts that are paced too slow, but overall, I feel like these 8 episodes could have been condensed into 4.
Yes.
And that's
maybe cut Masquerade. Like, all
Masquerade,
of that shit. Like,
or do it better. But if you can't do it better, don't do it.
Literally, maybe, like, okay, the voicemail scene in episode 2, I think, like, that and then maybe like one scene in the studio that isn't explicit, you would have been good.
Yeah.
Cut loser, baby.
Yeah. I think the other thing is that they bounce back and forth between the campiness and seriousness instead of building to the seriousness. I think that's the issue. Where, like...
There's also just no fucking build.
No. I think, because, like, Helluva... I don't want to overuse the word campy here, but, like, Helluva, you know, it starts out sort of, like, silly, not all that serious, and then it increasingly gets more dramatic as it goes on. It plants it, and then it builds to it. This is just like one episode we're singing like it starts with sorry, and then 2 episodes later, explicit rape.
Yes.
And it's like, I feel like, and that's like in the middle of the season, and it just doesn't. It's just too much just put there, but from a writing standpoint, and then from a like responsibility to your audience standpoint, it's just like. A lot.
I think also the thing is, like, you can have something that's serious that has humor in it. Mm-hmm. You can't have something that's serious, and this is a bold thing. You can't have something that's serious like that about, like, rape and abuse. Mm-hmm. And also have it be campy and satirical. Mm. Like, because you know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Okay, because it's like, one of them is like, this is very important, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And then one of them is like, we are making fun of it.
Yeah.
You can't have both of those exist in a show.
Yeah.
About like the same characters.
I'm getting hung up on satirical. That's the word I'm getting hung up on.
I would say camp more than satirical.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
About the same things, that is.
Yeah.
Because, again, going back to Cabaret, there is that. But... Yes. I don't know. It's because they treat, I think the big thing with Angel is that they treat his hypersexuality as like a, oh my god, he's so like annoying and it's funny.
Yeah.
That's like, I think where it's kind of really in deep. Anyway,
I was gonna say, how did we get back here? Good things. Soundtrack.
Right, sorry.
The music goes hard. We listen to it at the gym. Mm-hmm. We walk on the treadmill to Hazbin Hotel sometimes.
Very rarely. I feel the need to say we are not doing this every week.
No. But when the show first came out, we were
into it when it first came out even.
Soundtrack vibes.
Yeah. We had chorals with it when it first came out, obviously, but we were into the show.
Yeah. Similar with Helluva.
Yeah.
It's like it ages like milk, I'd say.
Yeah. Not wine.
But yeah, the soundtrack, really good. You know, we have our issues with Loser Baby as like, you know, what it perpetuates, but musically, banger song, unfortunately.
Musically, I don't think there's like a, oh my, it's cute, I skip it every time song.
No. Welcome to heaven.
Actually, yeah. That's not even cute, though.
I jammed to that one, I'm gonna be
sorry. But that's one that, like, if it comes on, if I'm listening to on my own, I'm skipping it. But I'm never listening to this soundtrack on my own.
Yeah, not these days.
So, like, if you're playing it, I'm not gonna be like, ugh, skip, like I would with fucking Crooked.
Yeah. But yeah, the casting, they've got like half of Broadway in here. The voice acting.
So good.
Charlie! You don't understand.
We don't need to talk about Jeremy.
Kevin never listens.
But like,
they never listen to me. They won't listen to you.
Actually, you know, the voice acting. This is no shade on the voice acting. The voice acting really good. Like you're taking it, you're eating it. It's great.
Yeah.
Angel's voice choice is very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that he has like a twink fag sound a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the weird, like, bad New Jerseyan accent is...
New Jersey?
Is it not New Jerseyan?
Or it's more New York.
Or no, Brooklyn, yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm from New Jersey.
I don't know.
I don't talk like that.
I always mix up the, and this is so bad, I'm so sorry if you're from either of these places, but I always mix up the, like, Brooklyn and the, like, Jersey wine aunt accents, because they're both, like...
I see it,
and everyone always does them wrong, and they kind of do them wrong in the same way.
Yeah.
But anyway, but it's not... I don't know that it's like a actual Brooklyn accent. You know what I'm saying? Like it's. Yeah. I feel like it's intentionally bad.
I don't know enough to say.
Yeah, I don't know. Honest. Anyway, that's not important.
Yeah.
It's. Yeah, you're killing it. You're doing fine.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say was all of the spoken lines in the music, like.
But it's funny.
No, it's really funny. I thought that's what you were gonna say though. Like in You Didn't Know. Adam. Don't, Adam, please.
They're not spoken is the thing. They're rhythmically and they're like,
Adam.
They have tone.
Don't, Adam, please.
But they are dialogue? It's crazy.
You Didn't Know is maybe the best song ever. So
the fucking
funny.
problem is musically this stuff bangs. Like, fucking... What's the Cannibal Town one?
You, Ready for This.
Ready for This.
That's one of my favorite
musically,
songs from that show.
So good.
So good.
The track?
So
fucking
good.
amazing.
So good. The piano part for that song. Yeah. So yeah, all that cool. Cool premise, complicated premise, but like there was potential there for the very basic foundation of the show. Whether it's executed well, blah.
Yeah.
And then also, this is something we talked about in our first ever episode of Helluva podcast, about how both Helluva Boss and Hazbin, sort of this idea of reclaiming hell for the gays.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice thought. And that's kind of all it is.
Yeah.
Now that Hazbin has come out, congratulations on coming out, Hazbin, sorry. But now that Hazbin season 1 is out.
I don't know why I clapped. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. I don't know that it's I mean, you know, who knows? Like there's a very big gay fan base for these shows who enjoy it a lot. So maybe that is reclaiming hell for the gays.
Yeah.
You know, sure. It makes people happy. It makes gay people happy. It's just also bad.
I think reclaiming hell for the gays does work in both this show and Helluva more.
Helluva more, for
because
sure,
Helluva also talks, like, I don't know, I wouldn't say that it's, like, the most, like, realistic thing ever, obviously. Mm-mm. But, like, it touches on actual queer issues occasionally.
Yeah.
And this show, not so... They try.
Yeah.
And they do really bad. Like,
yeah.
But then it's also, like, reclaiming hell for the gays in the way that, like, it's used against us a lot. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh my god, the demon show, and I'm so scared of it. And it's like, yeah, because that's my show.
Yeah.
Like, in that way, yes, it works.
And I think also just the idea of, like, it's set in hell, and there's just people who are gay, and that's just fine. Like, they're allowed to be gay. Like, in Helluva, you know, gay people out the wazoo, everyone's fucking gay. Most of them are gay. There's Charlie and Vaggie who don't have chemistry, but are gay.
Yeah.
But my main thing with that is going back to the idea of these things, like excessive sex and drugs that are regarded as sins. They don't explicitly do that with homosexuality, and I don't want them to. Yeah. But it just feels like, why are you saying, like, Angel is irredeemable for being an addict and a victim of sexual assault, but then you're just gonna also, like, you clearly didn't have to do that, because you're not doing the same thing for the gays. Yeah. Like, it just there's no consistency. That's the thing. Yeah. Hell of a lack of consistency.
That's what we should... We don't have another video called that, right? I don't think we do, but we could.
I don't think we do.
Yeah. I feel like I've, like, made myself stop talking because I will just keep going in circles. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else? About the show? About everything. For this episode, other than our closing, obviously.
We didn't talk about Lilith at all. I know she's not really in it. That's another thing about the whole Lucifer thing that irks me, is that he comes in and it's like, you have set up this fascinating mother of Charlie. Mm-hmm. And I know she's gonna be more relevant later on, but it's just like, why are we having this fuck-ass twink show up and fix all their problems?
Yeah. It would also be so interesting, too, if, like... but there's so many different ways that Lucifer's plot thing, he could have been a shitty dad and he could have been interesting. Mm-hmm. Like, because we talked about this with fucking Cash Buxo too. Yeah. What if Charlie did the extermination thing successfully and then he comes into her life? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so many more interesting ways to make him a more nuanced character, make him actually bad in some way, like he's been her whole life.
Also, the fact that Charlie's fucking, like, full transformation form in the final battle is so nothing, and it irks me so much, because he gets one, right? Yes. He gets a proper form. Obviously, in Helluva, we see Stolas' big-ass demon form. Charlie gets, like, fucking nothing, and that makes me so pissed.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, Luna kind of gets a cooler one than her.
Luna goes full wolf. That's true. But we have our own issues with that we talked about.
Yes, obviously.
One more. I don't know how we've been recording a while. I don't know how much we want to go into this, but any particular theories for season 2 of Hazbin?
I don't care.
Okay.
Probably, but at this point, I'm never thinking about it.
Okay, that's fair. I just wanted to mention Emily falling from heaven.
Right. I do care about that, actually.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because again, there's things about the show that are good or have the potential to be good. And I think season 2 is going to determine if we continue watching it at all. Because, we're Helluva podcast. We're not Hazbin podcast.
I also would love if we get to see Molly, Angel's sister.
Oh, I'm sure.
We saw her,
I'm sure,
visibly.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. I think that could be interesting. What happens if Molly learns that her brother is in hell and is actively being raped?
Yeah.
What happens then?
Yeah.
Or what happens when Angel gets to heaven?
Yeah.
And sees Molly. And there's also that whole thing of, in the Bible.
We cite our sources here on Helluva Podcast. In the Bible.
In the Bible, when people get to heaven,
yeah,
they don't know about anybody from their past life, and they don't know about anyone that's in hell.
Yeah.
They can mingle with people that in their past life that come to heaven, but anyone in their past life that goes to hell, they don't remember.
Yeah.
So what happens when Angel goes to heaven and sees Molly?
Mm-hmm.
Is that true of this universe?
Mm-hmm.
They're not the sinners. What are they called in heaven? God, I can't say them. They're not angels either, though.
The saved? I don't know. I don't think they give it a word.
Yeah, the Heavenites. They, what's the lore there? There's just so much more that could be explored.
The good guys. The winners. The holy ones.
Because what's the opposite of sin?
Sin, antonym. Virtue. The virtuous, maybe.
That's probably right, yeah.
Virtuers. 24/7.
Have you seen that meme that's or it's a video that is everybody the format of everybody arguing and then everyone says something at the same time and everyone argues and it's
it's entirely possible.
Yeah, that one. And it's everybody in the Hazbin fandom arguing and then it's what's that guy, the Welcome to Heaven guy? What's his name?
Peter? Is that St. Peter?
St. Peter, yeah. I think. We're going to use that.
Probably.
St. Peter. St. Peter wants a man.
St. Peter, we're going to get you on some gay shit. God willing.
But that's interesting, too, because, obviously he's probably not actually gay. But if he is gay, is he allowed into heaven? I
don't know. God is gay.
But I think he's heaven-born.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This is our longest bonus episode.
We gotta shut the fuck up.
We love to be haters, it seems.
The thing is, I'm not really that much of a hater, but I do hate this.
And with good reason.
Yeah.
So, we just said a lot of things. If you have any questions about anything we talked about, or any comments, or anything...
Yeah, you can argue with us, feel free. We will probably argue back, but you can argue with us.
Yeah, respectfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
we love to hear other opinions, because you might say something and we're like, oh my god, you're so right, actually.
Yeah, and I just know we bounced around a lot, so if anything was not clear, and since we were talking about a lot of very big topics that are important outside of this gay little demon show, please feel free to ask and clarify things. We will respond, of course. And then, yeah, you can... Oh, so this is exciting. Follow us on Instagram, not at AA Discussions. Follow us on Instagram at Helluva_podcast.
Woo, rebrand, woo.
Woo.
They would not give us Helluva Podcast at Helluva Podcast.
There's another account that is Helluva Podcast, no underscore, that is not active.
It's Helluva Sports Podcast, and that doesn't even exist. I looked it up. They deleted it.
Yeah. We DM'd them, we tried reporting them, we did everything in our power to get this username without the underscore. It just hasn't happened. Maybe one day. But for now, we decided to just go for it. So, we do currently... it's the same Instagram account we've always had. It's Helluva_podcast. That's just the username now. We've also, like, saved the Double A Discussions username on a separate account so that we can, like, tell people where to go. But we might also, we were discussing
rebranding a bit
more.
Because we've been, you more than me, but we've been doing a bit of personal endeavors with YouTube and YouTube Shorts and Instagram, etc., etc.
Subscribe to me, I guess.
Yeah.
Plug.
At Arnie Lagooby.
Arnie Lagooby. or Audie Lagera, that's my name.
Whoa, full government. Not actually.
Our personal accounts are tagged in the Instagram bio is the thing.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Internet safety?
Who?
Caring about our digital footprint in, like, employers later on?
No. We're gonna be, like, 35 and being like, alright, so you can send fan mail to us at this address. It is our home address. Our home. I don't know why it's our home address. God. But I do fear it, though, sometimes because I work with kids. So it's like, I don't plan to go into teaching or anything, but if I do, like, because, like, you know, in this economy. And I, like, interview somewhere and they're like, hey, we just listened to your really explicit podcast where you swear 24/7. And it's very linked to your full government name, so, can't hire you. And I'd be like, yeah. But anyway. It's gonna be so embarrassing for me if I become, like, a New York Times bestseller and then someone's like, so can you talk about your experience with Helluva podcast? I'm gonna be like, oh my god. Okay, listen, don't listen to season 1, okay? It gets better at season 2.
Hey, can you talk about your Smash Your Pass AI buttholes video that you uploaded when you were 21?
Subscribe to Arnie Lagooby on YouTube. That's me.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so look out for that. Also, subscribe to our newsletter because we put stuff in there. Yeah.
I got so excited. Yeah, follow us on Instagram. Do all the thingy-mabobs.
You know at this point.
You get it.
Thanks for listening.
Subscribe to the Ko-fi.
Subscribe to the Ko-fi. Also,
shout out to Emily and Jessica.
Yes.
Shout out to Emily and Jessica.
Emily and Jessica.
I
don't know. I screamed at
you. Our Goetia tier subscribers who pay us so much money per month that we don't deserve, and we love you so much.
If you want a shout out too, then pay us $10 a month.
Yeah.
But if you also just want to have us, you can pay $2 or $5.
You can pay.
You get them early.
And you'll get a free sticker while supplies last.
Yeah, I think we have like 2.
No, we have 8.
We got 8.
Yeah.
Oh, we've sent 2.
Yes.
Anyway.
We have 2 available for sale. Also, if you don't want to subscribe.
Whoa.
And we have new merch designs in the works.
Yes. Pins. Anyway, also...
This has been a weird one.
Yes, thank you for bearing with us. This has been crazy. I also hope that I just want to acknowledge we are 2 people that are not affected by all of the issues that we discussed that are serious. So if we were insensitive in any way, let us know, or also just know that we are not trying to be. We are trying to be serious and genuine and make commentary, and we care about everybody.
We love you.
All of our listeners, and also,
don't kill yourself.
Don't kill yourself.
Do. And should I say my line?
Is there Instagram? I think we did everything.
Instagram, newsletter, Ko-fi, blah, 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 blah. Stay sexy.